Time for what?
Time for what?
Experience in college.
Time for reinforcement.
Time for liftoff!
Where nothing is impossible unless you think it is impossible.
College.
I have my college scholarship.
Yes.
Boom.
College ran by real fast.
You hung in with the best college.
Touchdown!
First time for everything.
Well, what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Let's do this thing.
Genius, let's do this thing!
Welcome from SI Counseling Department. We college counselors are so thrilled that you decided to subscribe and listen to this podcast. Today, you're going to listen to two of my colleagues, Stephanie Wong and Ashley Withers, interview about some really important information as you're beginning the college process with some really expert college admission representatives from UC Santa Barbara and Dickinson College, Pennsylvania. So let's listen in.
I have the honor to introduce our two distinguished guest speakers in the college counseling field. So first, we have Kuka Acosta. She is the Associate Director of Admissions at the University of California, Santa Barbara, which is also her alma mater. She was born and raised in Southern California and received her BA from UCSB in philosophy. I see Phil is a SoCal guy too. Philosophy and an MA in leadership and liberal studies from Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. For 19 years, she has worked at UCSB, including 16 years in the Office of Admissions. So she is well-versed in this field. Her role includes coordinating outreach and yield activities, which have generated over 120,000 applications for fall of 2021. That's amazing. That's a lot of applications. For the last 8 years, she has traveled the world meeting and working with counselors, students, and parents who want to study in the U.S. She's has presented at national and international conferences on both the UC system and UCSB, undocumented student issues, and working with first-gen college students. In her free time, she loves to travel and considers her passport her best accessory in her closet. As the first and only person in her family to have a college degree, her goals are to create guidance and encouragement for students. So thank you for being with us tonight, Kuka.
The whole thing. Thank you.
I loved it. I loved every sentence. And then next we have Phil Moreno. He is from Dickinson College in Pennsylvania. He is the director of West Coast recruitment, and he is the co-coordinator of transfer admissions. He is a first generation college student from SoCal also. He's worked in college admissions since 2003, so almost 20 years, and is the director of West Coast recruitment at Dickinson. He also currently serves as the immediate past president of the Western Association for College Admissions Counseling, or WACAC, for the acronym, and is an active member of another acronym, RAC, which stands for Regional Admissions Counselors of California. He is also recently, I just learned he was a guest speaker on Good Day Courtney, a talk show, he is an expert in sharing about testing. And he is a graduate of USC, University of Southern California, and the University of Redlands. He believes that information in the college information process is power, and he is passionate about dispelling rumors and myths in the college admission process. Once again, Phil and Kuka, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to be with us and imparting your wisdom to families who are embarking on this journey. We've asked Phil and Kuka to share on various parts that kind of make up a student's application and just like admission trends and observations from their institution. So a few areas that they're going to share about are academics. So how should sophomore families think about their academic experience, such as course selection, grades, enrichment? They're also going to touch upon activities. Right? How are you guiding? How can you guide, or what advice would you give to sophomore families where maybe freshman year, where we were virtual, they didn't have as many activities to be involved in, right? So what does that look like on a college application? And then test optional, test free, as the UC system is now, right? Just how are you evaluating applications being test optional and test free? So I will hand the mic over to Kuka first. Each of them will spend about 10 minutes answering those questions.
All right, here we go. That's a lot of information to put into 10 minutes. So if I talk fast, I'm sorry. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. As stated, I'm Cuca Acosta with the Office of Admissions at UC Santa Barbara. I'm happy to have you send any direct communication or any specific questions that you might have about UCSB to my direct email address. You'll see it on the screen. I will point out that the University of California has the 10 campuses, and I am speaking on the system at this point in time and not Santa Barbara specifically. So what do you need to know? The academic requirements haven't changed. Newsflash, they haven't changed. So if you're a student in your first year, or if you're a student in your second year, sophomore year, you're looking at sort of chipping away at these academic curriculums. So you're looking at saying, okay, what am I really good at? I love math. I don't want to just do 3 years of math. I want to do 4 years of math. Great, you're already on your 4th year of math because you were taking geometry in junior high. So what can you do? Now it's about the rigor of that particular curriculum. So as you're planning your junior and your senior year, are there subjects where you're really embracing the subject matter and you want to then challenge yourself? This is the time to think about that by either taking that advanced course. And an advanced course will mean different things to different students. It might be taking a class at an honors level, or it might be asking, hey, is it time for me to look at a dual enrollment course? So think about what that means to the student. I know parents will probably go, my kid should be taking every AP class. Well, let's slow it down, parents. What is the right fit for your student? Having them take every AP class is not necessarily going to be the right fit if they end up getting C's in all the courses. So a student should be looking at the strength of their curriculum. Where do I find passion and joy? Where do I want to challenge myself? And then choosing those classes. Again, either rigor being an extra year in the subject matter, or an honors level type course, being honors, AP, or a dual enrollment class. I will point out that during the fun and excitement that was the pandemic, said no one ever, but we'll try it right now, the University of California was accepting pass, no pass, credit, no credit during winter 2020 all the way through summer 2021. And that means that some curriculum might have a pass or a credit, and that's perfectly okay, specifically because the UC GPA is being calculated from sophomore and junior year. Sophomore and junior year? Okay, what? Yes. So GPA is starting in the sophomore year, and students can really start fresh and say, here's where I'm ready to be successful. As stated, the University of California is test free. I loved saying that and doing it that way. Free. We will not, and we cannot look at SAT or ACT exams. One more time, cannot look at SAT or ACT exams. While yes, a student has the option to add that into the UC application, it is redacted. It is blacked out to the admissions reader, so they cannot see it. Well, then why do you want it? Thank you for asking. And here's why. There are some exams like SAT, ACT, AP, IB that can be used to validate some of these A through G subjects. That's why it's there. And for our students where English wasn't their first language, they're international students who maybe haven't been in an educational system in English for more than 3 years, these can also be English language placement exams. That's why it's in the application, because in the background of the application, that validation is happening. But the reader, we won't see it. We won't use it. We cannot use it as part of our admissions. So what is in the admissions process, you ask? There are 13 factors in admission. So the fact that we took away SAT or ACT, it went from 14 to 13. There's still plenty that we're looking at. We're looking at the curriculum a student chooses to take based off of the context of what was offered at their high school, not what was offered across town, not what was offered in another state or another country, but what was offered at your high school. And you have a pretty robust academic course list at your school. It's a great school. We know it. We're also looking at the ability for students to show special talents, achievements, awards. And where in the past that was literally school clubs and organizations and community service, and you got started your freshman year and life was great and you had a list. What? You didn't do anything last year because your parents kept you locked in a bubble? Good. You were safe. You were sound. I'm happy. But now the question comes down to, what are you going to do? And were you really not leaving your house at all during the pandemic? Okay, well, how did you spend your time? What were your talents and hobbies and experiences? During the pandemic, those limitations created opportunities for so many students. And all of those can be used in the application process. And I'm sure that Phil's going to echo a lot of this. So I'm sorry, Phil, for stealing your thunder, my friend. But we look at what a student chose to do based off of what was available to them. Again, the word context. Write it down, put it on your computer screen. Just remember, context is key. So babysitting your siblings while your parents were working from home in the living room and trying to keep them quiet, yeah, that counts. Maybe you started your own blog or your own journal as you were talking about what it meant to be a teenager going through the pandemic. Maybe now you have 30,000 followers. That can count. Maybe you started your own business. Maybe you learned how to perfect the sourdough recipe by making 50,000 loaves. Tell me what you did, how you did it, and what you gained from the experience. That's part of our UC application. And that is really what the admissions office wants to know. When the chips were down, how did you power through? And it's going to look different for every single student. And that's the key part. Don't compare your student. And students, don't compare yourself to anyone else, because in the admissions office, we don't do that either. The last thing I'll point out is in the admissions process, the self-reported application, we'll be asking for academics and we'll calculate GPAs and we'll do all of that. But a really big component is life experience based off of the context of opportunity. And if the household didn't allow you to do a lot of things structurally through formal organizations, then again, how did you spend your time? Maybe you're an artist and now your bedroom is covered in a mural that it took 3 months to do. Tell me more. Tell me and explain to me what that process was like, how you created that mural, how you went about drafting and drawing it, and now what it means to you. We want to get to know the student. And it's not just a GPA and it's not just this small window of classes, but everything about the student inside and outside of the classroom. So with that in mind, I will pause and I will turn it over to Phil so that he can give you his point of view as what it means to be academically sound and all of those fun things about testing that he does.
Man, how do I follow that, Kuka? I should have been reluctant. Last time I presented with Kuka, the same thing. You're right. She has excellent energy. And in fact, she and I work together on the WACAC board. And so we're really excited to be here tonight, particularly because I don't think I usually get to talk to sophomore parents or families this early in the process. And as is mentioned, I think so much of what happens at a place like St. Ignatius is you all talk with each other, and then you think that those become the way things are supposed to be. And truly, the most common answer to any college admissions question is it depends. And that's because of what you just heard from Kuka. It's contextual, right? The answer is going to be contextual to your student, to the colleges or universities that you're looking at, the year, many different factors that really influence the answers to any college admissions question. So what I'm very happy to be able to represent today are those colleges that are similar to Dickinson. And, for someone who grew up in California myself, I know that we don't particularly look at smaller liberal arts colleges like Dickinson College, but they're there. St. Mary's College of Moraga, Mills College, which is doing a transformation. Down south, places like Occidental College, the Claremont colleges. And what you know about those institutions, first and foremost, right, is that they are designed to be smaller, intentional communities. So as you think about the progress you've made at St. Ignatius, and as you progress through your sophomore into your junior year, you as a student and parents certainly helping your students, what is the best type of environment for you to learn, right? I remember very early on in my college experience being in a 240-person astronomy course. But that was okay, because I was going to major in journalism, right? At a place like Dickinson, where class size ratios are 8-to-1, 14, even your general education courses are going to be smaller and intimate. They're about engagement. Dickinson, from the very beginning, is about engagement. So our liberal arts institution is very much focused in on the idea of engagement inside it and outside of the classroom. It's focused then on the idea of a global education. In fact, Dickinson ends up being the first modern foreign language in the program in the United States. We now offer 13 languages, and our students study abroad about 70%. And then lastly, we're an institution that thinks of sustainability as a philosophy for solving problems. And that's also unique to smaller institutions like Dickinson, Haverford, Grinnell, Kenyon, right? Each of these institutions has the luxury of deciding what they're going to invest in, right?